All right, so this is chemistry with Jonathan Shum. Um, so just a little background about me. I received both my bachelor and master's from UC San Diego. I'm actually a biologist by trade. And before this, as a teacher, I worked in the biotech industry. We were synthesizing nucleotides, which is the building blocks of DNA, and also worked in sequencing DNA as well as the human genome. So the course that I'm teaching is chemistry. So chemistry is a requirement for those who want to go to UC school. It's what we call an A through G, and this fulfills the physical science. It's also a lab science. So we focus not only on our content, but also how the students can be successful. And then the last thing that we should note is that all chemistry classes are aligned. So there are 4 other chemistry teachers teaching prep chemistry. And so we are pretty much aligned with each other, meaning we're doing the same things on the same days. And so therefore students can go to different teachers for tutoring and that kind of stuff, which is helpful since some students learn better from different teachers depending on their style. So I really want to focus on traits of a successful student. The first thing is that they complete thoroughly all homework, labs, and so if anything that's late is always docked 50% before I start grading. And then after the unit is complete and the assignment has not been turned in, it remains as 0. So just to give you a heads up, you can always check on School Loop. So here's my calendar for School Loop. It tells you when everything is due. And then the students, I primarily use Google Classroom. And so everything is turned in, or most everything is turned in via Google Classroom if it's not an assessment. And so each student has access to their particular chemistry period and where they have to turn things in and that kind of stuff. They're pretty familiar with. But yes, if you needed to access your students' Google Classroom, you would have to use their password and email, which is assigned by Chafee. Right now, there's no teacher that I know of, parent account that I know of. But this is where all the information is. But you can always refer to School Loop because I post, knowing that parents don't have their own access to Google Classroom, I post what is due the next day. So usually I'm about a week out, so this is this week's assignments. All right, let's get back to this. Oh, okay, and so the next one is study. And I'll just go through this and then come in for tutoring, not just before tests or quizzes. So when it comes to tutoring, I'm pretty much available most days before, after, and during lunch. So before school, after school, and during lunch. But I find that students who come in on a regular basis rather than right before tests or quizzes tend to be better prepared and more successful. And then we have tutoring available with other teachers at different times, and that can be found on your syllabus. Attend class and be active, and so being active in class is not necessarily the one who talks the most or whatever. It's the one who's paying attention. When I ask a question, is answering it, whether it's in their mind or raising their hand. And then the big thing for me is I always stop and say, do you understand? Or like I ask for questions, and I appreciate questions. The students know that, but I think sometimes, it's awkward to be a teenager and to ask a question in front of other people, especially if you think it might be a silly question or a not so smart question. But I always just remind them, this is your education. It's probably worse not to ask the question and let it go than to ask the question. But I always tell, you can always come after school and ask the question. So it's not as though there's an excuse. When I do talk about study, I want to show you the ways we support our students. And so a lot of my lectures are posted online, and you can either find them in Google Classroom, but I also post them So, for example, they had scientific notation homework, and so I post the notes. And so this is how the notes work. It's like each topic has their own PowerPoint, so to speak, but I also do video lectures. So basically, I do a little summary of what we went over. And so those are here, and you can see the dates. And so it works, and it's helpful in many ways. These students who weren't there, they can go through it. And I literally go through the notes. And also, students who didn't quite get it, they can also rewatch it. And so you just click on it, and then it's me here doing the particular lecture. The other thing is, at the end of each kind of topic, or I always put like a homework assignment. The homework assignment usually is some kind of self-checked homework. And so, like in this case, they're able to check their answers as they work through the homework. And so this helps them kind of know if they're on the right track. And so my expectation is if they don't quite understand it, that they come in and get help. Often I try to keep my lectures short so that the students can have at least 10 minutes to kind of work on the sections or the homework, so that I'm there to kind of help them through it. And so these are the ways that we try to assist the students. So let's see, let me go back. All right, and then let me continue on with, so grading. Here is your grading scale. It's pretty traditional grading scale. Here are the percentages, the breakdown of the weighting of each category. And then I use grading abbreviations. So so on average, I try to return homework within a week, and then I will update it right away. And so it's not like every Friday. It's just whenever I get the grades, I update them. I aim for getting everything back within a week. So if it was turned in on Wednesday, next Wednesday, hopefully the grades will be in. And it's a goal. It's not like a hard and fast rule, but I understand that parents and students want to know where they stand. And also, especially for parents, you can kind of see what's missing, and then for students as well. What I don't want is a situation where grades haven't been posted for a long time and then get posted and there's not an opportunity to recover or an opportunity to get tutoring help or what have you. And so I get that. But here are the grading abbreviations. If I don't receive it, I put a no. And that can be, so therefore the assignment is missing, it counts as a 0, but it can be completed for half credit. That offer is good until the unit test, at which point it becomes a 0. If the student was absent, I put AB. Now that counts as a 0, and the reason why is I just want to be clear that they have not made it up, and so therefore it's currently a 0. But of course, because they were absent, they can make it up within a day or two and still get full credit. So just so you know, that's how I go and put in my grades. Here's my information. The one thing I want to highlight was the students have already, or most of them, have signed up for Remind. Remind is a way for me to text the students or to send out text messages. So the last couple I've sent out, a lab report is due, and so make sure to get that done. So if you want to be on that and receive those texts, you just have to text at HDG7BD9 to the number 81010.